What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're going to be doing a Genesys format Victory Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Izzy. And this deck has a deck cost of 100. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. And definitely give Izzy some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Victory Dragon. Victory Dragon is absolutely insane because this card can actually win us a match, with the ability that this card cannot be special summoned, and to tribute summon this card, you must tribute 3 dragon type monsters. And if this card attacks your opponent directly and reduces their life points to 0, you actually win the match, which is insane that this card can win you duels before they even start. We then play 3 copies of Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Infernos. Blaster is definitely a 3-of in the build and such a powerful card to be able to play, and this card is actually our very first point card, sitting at 7 points apiece. And this card, along with all of our main deck Dragon Ruler monsters, actually share an awesome common effect. And if this card is in the hand or the graveyard, you can actually banish a total of 2 monsters of their attribute and your dragon monsters from the hand or the graveyard, extend this card, and then special summon this card to your side of the field. But during your opponent's end phase, if this card was special summoned, you return it back to your hand, which is a pretty cool ability to instantly bring out your Dragon Rulers to the field. This card also has a really cool unique ability that you can discard this card and a fire monster to the graveyard to target 1 card on the field and destroy that target. We then play 3 copies of Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms. Tempest is an amazing 3-of in the build because this card actually helps us search out our dragon monsters, but this card is also a point card sitting at 7 points apiece. With this card having the unique ability that you can discard this card and a wind monster to the graveyard to add a dragon type monster from your deck to your hand, meaning you can use this card to search out your copy of Victory Dragon. We then play 2 copies of Tidal, Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls. Tidal is amazing as a 2-of in the build because this card is basically a foolish burial for the deck, and this card is also a point card sitting at 7 points apiece. And this card has the ability you can actually discard this card and a water monster to the graveyard to send a monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is an awesome foolish burial effect. We then play 2 copies of Redox, Dragon Ruler of Boulders. Redox is an amazing 2-of in the build, and this card is also a point card sitting at 7 points each. With this card having the ability you can actually discard this card and an earth monster to the graveyard to target a monster in your graveyard and special summon that target, which is a great ability to be able to use to instantly bring a monster back to the field. But it's awesome that all the Dragon Ruler monsters that are the big Dragon Rulers that are in the main deck all are 7 points apiece. We then play 2 copies of Burner, Dragon Ruler Sparks. Burner is amazing to help us summon out our copy of Blaster. And you discard this card and a dragon or a fire monster to special summon a Blaster directly from your deck, but it can't attack directly, or cannot attack this turn, which is the only downside to this card, that all the baby rulers have that ability that they basically summon out the larger versions of themselves, but they can't attack this turn, but you can still use them as materials for XZ summons, which is awesome. We then play 2 copies of Lightning, Dragon Ruler of Drafts. This card is great to be able to play as a 2-of because you can actually discard this card and a dragon or a wind monster to special summon a copy of Tempest directly from your deck, but it cannot attack this turn. We then play 2 copies of Stream. Stream is great as a 2-of in the build, help us summon our copy of Tidal. And you discard this card and a dragon or a water monster to special summon out your copy of Tidal directly from the deck. We then play 2 copies of Dragon Ruler of Pebbles. This card is really cool as a 2-of to help you summon out your copy of Redox, letting you discard this card and a dragon or an earth monster to special summon out your copy of Redox directly from the deck. We then play 3 copies of Spectral, Dragon Ruler of Flickers. This card is so good as a searcher and such a powerful card to be able to play. You can actually discard this card and a dragon or a light monster to add 2 dragon ruler monsters from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. And also banish this card from the graveyard and a dragon or a light monster, and then target a Chasma in your graveyard and special summon it, which is awesome to summon out one of our XZ monsters directly from our graveyard. We then play a single copy of Nebulous. Nebulous is so cool to be able to play, and actually my favorite among all of the dragon rulers, and definitely comment down below what your favorite dragon ruler is as well. But this card is great because you can actually discard this card and a dragon or a dark monster to target 2 of your banished dragon ruler monsters with different attributes and special summon them, but they cannot attack this turn. You can also banish a card from the graveyard and a dragon or a dark monster, and then target an Eclipse that's in your graveyard and special summon it back to your side of the field, which is awesome to instantly bring Eclipse back to the field. We then made a copy of Pilearm Dragon. Pilearm Dragon is great to be able to play the armed dragon engine in the deck because it helps you get additional monsters on the field and pay the cost for your dragon rulers. And this card is a really good extender, letting you send one other wind dragon monster or a level 7 or higher dragon monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand, and also you can send an armed dragon monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, except to copy this card to target a face-up monster you control, and the target monster gains attack equal to the level on the monster sent to the graveyard times 300 until the end of the turn. But you can only attack with 1 monster this turn, which is a pretty cool Foolish Barrel-like effect. We then play 2 copies of Armed Dragon Thunder level 7. This card is amazing as a 2/0 to work with our dragon rulers because this card has the ability that if it's sent to the graveyard to activate a dragon monster's effect, you can actually add a armed dragon card from your deck to your hand, which is a pretty cool ability to be able to use. We then play 2 copies of Armed Dragon Thunder level 5. This card is really cool as a 2/0 in the build because if this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a dragon monster's effect, you can actually add a level 5 or higher wind dragon monster from your deck to your hand, meaning you can search out cards like Pilearm Dragon, Armed Dragon Thunder level 7, or even be able to search out cards like Tempest, which is pretty cool. We then play 2 copies of Armed Dragon Thunder level 3. This card is great to be able to play in the deck as a 2/0 because it has a really cool ability if it's sent to the graveyard to activate a dragon monster's effect. You get to draw a card, helping us dig in the deck for the exact cards that we need. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with 3 copies of Sacred Sword of 7 stars. This card is an amazing draw spell and works so good in the deck because of the amount of actual level 7s we play in the build. Because you can banish a level 7 monster from your hand or face on your side of the field to draw 2 cards, which is a pretty cool ability to be able to use. We then play 3 copies of Here There Be Dragons. This card is so cool and one of my favorite cards in the entire deck for the artwork alone. When this card lets us special summon a dragon ruler monster from our hand, graveyard, or banishment, then immediately this effect resolves, you get to XZ summon a dragon ruler XZ monster using only dragon ruler monsters you control, which is a pretty cool ability to instantly bring a dragon ruler monster to your side of the field and then go in for an XZ play. You also, during the main phase, can banish this card from the graveyard and then target any number of your banished dragon ruler monsters with different attributes and return them back to the graveyard, but you only use 1 effect this card per turn and only once that turn. But this card is great for the grind game. We then play 3 copies of Super Rejuvenation. Super Rejuve is so good in the deck to help us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need, because during the end phase of the turn this card was activated, you get to draw a number of cards equal to the combined number of dragon monsters you discarded or tributed from your hand or field this turn, which is crazy powerful how deep you can actually dig in the deck using this card. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Chasma, Dragon Ruler of Auroras. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build and such a powerful card to be able to play, as this card lets you copy the abilities of your Dragon Ruler monsters. With the ability that the quick effect, you can actually send a level 7 Dragon Ruler monster from your deck to the graveyard and detach a material in this card, and this card's effect becomes that same monster's effect when it would discard itself to activate, which is pretty cool to actually use cards like Blaster to pop a card, Tidal to be able to use it as a Foolish Burial, your Redox to be able to actually use it as a Monster Reborn, and Tempest to be able to search out a dragon, which is pretty cool about this card. Also, if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card's owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can actually special summon a level 7 Dragon Ruler monster from the grave or banishment. We then play 2 copies of Eclipse. Eclipse is so cool as a boss monster because this card is actually a walking spell trap negate, with the ability that if this card is XZ summon, you can actually target a level 4 or lower Dragon Ruler monster in your grave or banishment and special summon a level or rank 7 Dragon Ruler monster that's mentioned on the targeted monster from the deck or banishment. Then shuffle the targeted monster into the deck, which is a great ability to be able to use, especially with cards like your copy of your baby Dragon Rulers to instantly bring out one of the big Dragon Rulers back to your side of the field. This card also has the ability when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials in this card to negate the activation if you do banish that card. We then play 2 copies of Disaster. Disaster is such a powerful boss monster, one of the most powerful cards in all of Genesys format to summon, because it's so difficult for your opponent to out. This card requires 2 rank 7 XZ monsters to make this card, which is probably going to be your copy of Eclipse and Aurora that you're usually going to use to bring this card to your side of the field. But if this card is XZ summon, you can actually target up to 4 level 7 Dragon Ruler monsters in the grave or banish them and attach them to this card. Then you can banish all monsters that your opponent's field and graveyard with the same attribute as its materials, which is such an awesome ability because you're always going to make this card using your copy of Eclipse and Aurora, then attach all of the old school Dragon Rulers to this card, which is pretty cool. This card also has an insane ability that you can actually use when it's summoned to your side of the field, because while this card has a light, dark, earth, water, fire, and wind Dragon Ruler monster as a material, it gains 4,600 attack and defense points, and it's unaffected by other card effects, which is insane. This card is definitely a 2-of in the build to basically just easily make this card and swing in for game while also board wiping the field. We then play 2 copies of Big Eye. Big Eye is great to be able to use to basically just take control of your opponent's monsters, and it's just such a powerful card to be able to play. We then play a single copy of Blaze, the Supreme Ruler of all Dragons. This card is great to help you pop cards on the field, because once per turn you can detach a material in this card, detach 2 cards, or destroy 2 cards, 1 from your hand or field and 1 that your opponent controls, which is a pretty cool ability, and also banish a total of 2 fire and or dragon monsters from the hand of the graveyard to special summon this card from the grave, but return it back to the X deck when it leaves the field. We then make a single copy of Dark Arm, the Dragon of Annihilation. This card is my favorite XZ for obvious reasons, and it's so cool to be able to summon because this card can pop multiple cards on the field and also help you banish your Dragon Ruler monsters from the graveyard. We then lay a single copy of Dracosac. Dracosac is great to help you again pop cards on the field, but this card also generates its tokens, and it's super nostalgic to play with all of our Dragon Ruler monsters. We lay a single copy of the Darkest Dragon Doom Rider. This card helps out so much in the build to basically be a quick effect pop, and it's so good in this build. We then lay a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is also a point card, and it actually has a point cost of 20, but it's so good in this XZ deck where you can summon out cards with multiple XZ materials so you can constantly be board wiping the field with awesome cards like Zeus. We then made a single copy of Typhon. Typhon is definitely a 1-of as well, because this card is also a point card sitting at 10 points, but it's well worth it to be able to use this card as a skill drain for 3,000 high attack point monsters and a bounce. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Victory Dragon deck in Genesys format, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's so fun to be able to play, and it's ridiculously easy to summon it using the Dragon Ruler monsters to generate a bunch of dragons on your side of the field, so you can basically just tribute them for your copy of Victory Dragon while also summoning out insane boss monsters like your copy of Disaster. So, let's do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.